these NBA playoffs, because as of this recording on Friday, May 27th, 2022, the Golden State Warriors have finished off the Dallas Mavericks in 5 games. They have advanced to the NBA Finals. The Heat and Celtics play in Game 6 tonight. Now, obviously, as you are listening to this podcast, you will know the result of that game. I do feel like that Boston is going to win that game. I think we're going to get a Boston Golden State NBA Finals. Boston to me has felt like the best team in the East since they knocked out Milwaukee in a very grueling, brutal, physical 7-game series that took Giannis Antetokounmpo and crew to the limit. Now you could argue, as I am, that Chris Middleton being out for Milwaukee is a big deal. If they add him, could they have defeated the Boston Celtics? Absolutely sure. But at the start of the season, there was a lot of talk about the Celtics potentially breaking up Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. And I was one of those guys who was not against that theory. Listen, Boston has been to the Eastern Conference Finals of the second round in many years. They haven't been able to get over the hump. They haven't made the NBA Finals since 2010. They haven't won the NBA championship since 2008, which is a long historic drought for a great sports city and a great basketball team like Boston and the Celtics. But the fact of the matter is, this postseason, as I have said here multiple times on this podcast, unlike Devin Booker and unlike Chris Paul, and really unlike Joel Embiid and Jokic and Donovan Mitchell and these guys that we all really like that are good players, Jimmy Butler now in this series, really, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and these guys for the Celtics, they have stepped up in big game moments. And I just think even with obviously the Tyler Hero injury, if the Heat hurts them, we know Jimmy Butler is dealing with knee inflammation. We know he's not 100%. But I really think outside of that, Boston is just the better team. As I said, they are well coached. They are more battle tested than Miami. That's not saying the Heat aren't battle tested. It's just Miami went through Atlanta, who obviously took a step back from last season, and then Philadelphia, who obviously missed and beat the first 2 games of the series, and then Game 6, as I just mentioned, did not show up. So Miami did not have the challenges that Boston did. That wasn't, even though they beat Brooklyn 4 straight times and swept them, those were very competitive games. Those might be the 4 most competitive games of the entire postseason right there. And then you throw in the Milwaukee series. Again, Miami, who is physically tough. I think Boston is hardened, and I think that they will give Golden State a good series. But I said this last week. I said it on the All Things Cleveland Cavaliers podcast with my co-host Joey Schneider. They do every week where we literally talk all things Cavs. I made the proclamation that I think the Golden State Warriors are going to win the 2022 NBA Finals, and I think that Steph Curry is going to get his first ever Finals MVP. I think this is set up to be Curry's year, Golden State's year. Golden State, out of the last 6 times they have made the NBA playoffs, they have went to the finals every single time. I just want that to set in for the people at home here that listen, even with Kevin Durant being in 3 of those 6 finals, Golden State has made 3 finals, all on their lonesome, if you will, with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. And this year's version of the Golden State Warriors is definitely the best version we saw of them outside of 2016, in my opinion, because they have the depth. They have Kevon Looney. They have Otto Porter. They have Andrew Wiggins. They have Jordan Poole. I mean, it's not just Klay Thompson. It's not just Steph Curry. It's not just Draymond Green. It's not just those core players. They play a lot of people. They play almost everybody off their bench. We talked about Jordan Poole a little bit earlier in a couple podcasts, how he is turning into that third Splash brother. And this is just Golden State, right? I mean, Steph Curry was out a year. Klay Thompson was out 2 seasons. Draymond Green looked like he was over the hill 2 years ago. But at the end of the day, they just reload, repeat, play good basketball, and they are a team. And they have camaraderie, and they have a bunch of guys that they threw at Dallas and Luka Doncic. I'm not going to take away anything from Dallas and Luka Doncic. I thought Luka Doncic did the best he could this postseason, certainly rising into my ranks of the top best players in the NBA. with the performance he put on against the Phoenix Suns in that second round and really try to carry Dallas to at least a game. This Mavericks team reminds me a lot of the 2007 Cleveland Cavaliers, who made the NBA Finals against the San Antonio Spurs. And that Finals, everybody knew wasn't even going to be a contest, but the fact that LeBron James took these guys and those guys rode his coattails to the NBA Finals with LeBron in his fourth year in the league was unbelievable. Similarly here, Luka Doncic, I believe he's in his third year in the league. He's 23 years old. He went back-to-back game sevens with the Los Angeles Clippers. Obviously, the first being in the bubble, last year being that kind of game seven. And now here we are again. This year again, he gets over the hump, beat the Phoenix Suns, just could not beat the Golden State Warriors. I do feel that Dallas is talented. I don't feel like they're as talented as Phoenix, especially if they do keep DeAndre Ayton and he grows a pair and actually has a good postseason. I don't feel like they're as talented as Memphis. I don't feel like that they're as talented as Golden State. Denver, we'll see what they do if they bring back Jamal Murray. Minnesota is on the up and up, or to see what moves the Lakers make. So I don't think that this Dallas team is a for sure foregone conclusion. They're going to get back to this level of playoff basketball in this late May of next season. But credit to Dallas. This has been, again, two very hard-fought series, for very good teams. But I think overall Golden State should be the favorite. I'll pick Golden State against Boston in 6 games. Saying that, though, I do believe, and again, this is recorded on Friday, May 27th, before Game 6 of the Celtics Heat series. I believe, and you can mark it down on here, the Celtics are going to win Game 6. If it goes to a Game 7, though, I think we're getting a Warriors Heat finals. I think it's a very difficult task to ask a Boston to go into Miami and win Game 2, 5, and 7. That's why I think tonight is a must win for the Boston Celtics in the TD Garden. They have the better team. They are better coached this series. They have the better superstar right now who is rising, and a Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown going up against Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole, Draymond Green, Golden State Warriors, with all the supporting cast of Boston has, like Robert Williams and Marcus Smart, will make for an excellent overall basketball series. Again, not only credit to Golden State for getting the 6 finals in the last 8 years, and each time they have made the playoffs, the last 6 seasons they have made the NBA Finals, but also credit to Boston, because they could have blown up the Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown experiment. Pundits were calling for it. I was calling for it a little bit. And this new era of the NBA basketball, where you don't need the best player on the court, you don't need Giannis, and just having him will not guarantee you a playoff series win because of the amount of talent in today's NBA. Boston is being rewarded for patience. They made a coaching change. Danny Ainge out of GM, Brad Stevenson, Ime Udoka in it head coach. And it looks like that move is about to pay off, because it looks like the Boston Celtics are about to make it out of the Eastern Conference.